Hello, everyone. Dutch football fans around the world. It is Football-Oranje. We're into the Euros. Time for a preview of Poland against the Netherlands to follow on from our Group D preview that we did with all of the experts of the different countries in the group, and also to follow on from our generic Euro 2024 preview. Let's talk about it then. Abdul, you're here. How do you feel about the match going ahead? 2 days' time. For me now, I'm not really thinking about players' tactics at the moment. I've got to be honest, just pure excitement that the tournament is starting.
Yeah, I had this Euro fever starting from maybe a week ago. I started having this Euro fever, waiting for the match, waiting for the entire tournament to start. Very excited about it, of course. Very excited about tonight's match, but waiting for Sunday mostly, our match against Poland. This is going to be, of course, our start. Excited overall, yeah.
Yeah, I've just got this feeling that Netherlands are gonna not wipe the floor with any teams this tournament, but I think they can have a good game against Poland and still get a win. I was hearing someone come on a podcast and it said most teams that win the Euros, World Cups, they have a great defense. First of all, we know that about teams on the international stage. It is a different game to the club level, but they said it's when teams have got four centre backs in the back four. And I feel like, looking at the Netherlands, they are essentially playing with four centre backs in that back four. Dumfries loves to get forward, as is Geertruida, but they are, at least from what I remember, they're centre backs by trade. Dumfries back in the day, I think, was a centre back before becoming a right back. So they're set up pretty well, aren't they, the Dutch, to try and make it past some teams in tight games?
Yes. We do have the quality to win. Speaking about the next match, we do have the quality. We have an amazing squad, really, despite all the injuries. We have, especially in the midfield, with the Frankie de Jong being out, Koop Miners being out. But I think the entire team is good now. Many people are talking about playing 4-3-3 against Poland. And some people guessed the lineup that's going to be against Poland, which I think this is going to be the case. Somehow, I don't think Dumfries is going to be a starter since you mentioned his name. I think it's going to be Geertruida, actually, as a right back. And I think Koeman will depend on Frimpong as a winger because we saw what Frimpong is capable of doing. I think it's going to be Geertruida as a right back and Nathan Ake as a left back, probably Van Dijk and De Ligt central defenders. So this is the defensive line that we're going to have, which is very solid and strong in my opinion.
Yeah, Geertruida's made a few mistakes this season, but I do think overall he's a very strong player. Don't think he's better than Dumfries, but I hope people watching and listening would agree that actually playing, because we talked about this in the live show, didn't we, after the Iceland game, you can't play Dumfries and Frimpong together at the same time. You could. And Koeman's obviously thinking about it, but he wants that balance, right? He wants us to be strong, solid, and get the best out of Frimpong. Dumfries will play. He will be an option, but seemingly not in this game. It surprised me. I thought Dumfries would play this one and the Austria game, but against France, he would go like Geertruida and Frimpong, so it's more like a back five. Unless he's thinking against France, he goes with Dumfries and Frimpong in that game. But it seems to be like a bit of the selection headache that Koeman has got because he doesn't really have many options left in midfield now with all the injuries. And then up top, it pretty much picks itself too. The only thing is, of course, if Frimpong plays, it means that Simons doesn't because Koeman doesn't like to play him as number 10, which is his natural position, which is a bit frustrating. And then the team, it selects itself. There are a few that might come in, but not will make a massive difference. The main one is seemingly this right side.
To be honest, I cannot find a place for Simons, in the team. He's a great player, but so far he hasn't done much for Oranje. Although he scored in the last friendly match we played. I think Memphis, Gakpo, Frimpong, even Malen, even Weghorst proved themselves much more than Simons with Oranje. So I do believe that, the 5 players we have, kind of better than Simons with Oranje at least. Not to mention Xerxes. I think he was amazing this season in the Italian league with Bologna. So maybe he will even have a chance to play, you know. But Simons, I'm against giving him a chance in this tournament unless the match is an easy win. Like if we are leading 3-0, for example, and you give him a chance, maybe he can achieve something and improve with Oranje, because so far he hasn't proven anything yet.
Yeah, he was given that chance against Iceland, scored a goal, but didn't play that well. And I wonder if that's now said to Koeman, no, maybe I won't start him in a couple of these Greek games. And he might only play if, say, they're comfortably through to the next round. But actually, Netherlands in this group are not going to be comfortably going through to the next round to rest players for the third group game, unlike the World Cup when we could do that against Qatar.
Yeah.
So, Abdul, it's great to talk about this game. We'll get into the opposition, get predictions as well for the game. But just want to thank everyone for listening and joining in with this. We're back by popular demand. You did want us to do another show before this game. If you enjoy our podcast, do give them a like. Do that right now. And subscribe if you're new to the YouTube channel. But of course, lots more on Twitter, our website and such. Stick around with us throughout the Euros. Anything you can do helps us grow. So if we get into the Poland team, we talked about this with Ryan on the Group D preview show. And he wasn't very optimistic at all about Poland's chances at this competition. And then, do you know, I don't have it off my head, but Poland did beat someone, didn't they? 3-1 in the run-up to this. You're going to know, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
who was it?
Yeah, of course. Well, to be honest, yeah. I think they have all the right to be optimistic about their team, but numbers speak for themselves. Poland struggled a lot to qualify. They did not. They even lost to, I think, Moldova or Latvia, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to a very mediocre team, and especially now.
I'm having a little look now. Yeah, and they lost to Moldova about a year ago. Sort of edged their way past the Faroe Islands home and away. Lost to Albania, who have also of course qualified for the tournament. They drew to Moldova in the return at home. Drew the Czech Republic, beat Latvia 2-0, and then of course beat Estonia in the qualifying playoffs and edged past Wales on penalties. Since then, though, this is the one I was talking about. They beat Ukraine 3-1, who some people think are like underdogs at the Euros as well. And they beat Turkey 2-1. Turkey have been struggling for form. So those two results kind of give it a bit more of a shine on what has actually been a poor year and a bit for Poland. Ryan was saying that even without Lewandowski, even with Lewandowski, he would be worried about the Poland against the Netherlands and the group in general. He thinks they'll finish bottom with 0 points. But I couldn't tell if he was just going at it from an angle of, well, if I say this, then anything is a surprise, so we can enjoy the tournament. But you can't deny how important this first game is. I don't think it's going to be easy. The Netherlands are not going to win this 3-4, 5-0 at all. Get that out of our head straight away. This is going to be a tight game. It will be won by 1 goal if the Netherlands can get it.
Yes, it's one match against one team. It's not like home and away. Poland gave us a hard time out of a sudden in the Nations League when they led the score by 2-0. And then we made a comeback. It ended 2-2. So it could happen again. They could score a quick or fast goal on you, and then you will struggle to equalize. I remember in the previous Euro, we were much stronger than Czech Republic on paper. But what happened in the match? We got a red card, and then they scored 2 goals. We were out. So we cannot really underestimate any team. I think we have to start very strongly and very solid. Hopefully we can win. And I agree with you. I doubt it's going to be like 4 or 5-0. If we win, it might be with only 1 goal or 2 goal difference.
Yeah, agreed. Looking at the team, they've set up with a back 5 against Turkey. And looking at a few of the players, people, of course, that are Eredivisie fans will know that Milik is, of course, Polish, but he's injured, as well as Lewandowski. So Szymanski is another one we may know. Played as an attacking midfielder for Feyenoord and actually quite liked him, thought it was quite handy. But he's playing in a team where he's not got many of the players now to play with. So they'll be lacking a bit of quality, I would suggest, Poland. Bednarek playing in defence, being an Aston Villa fan, I can tell you he's not that great. Szczesny in goal, Zibas is best now. They've got some handy players. for sure, the Netherlands have got better players, and it's just a case of Koeman, if he needs to, it's 0-0, it's not going their way, how he can bring a player off the bench to change it. Can he get the best out of Bobby if he needs to bring him on? Does he bring on Dumfries and use him down the right side and bring in Xabi Simons, who, has he motivated him to try and get him the best out of him? This is what we're worried about with Koeman. Has he got enough to do that? But I do think we've got to give him his credit. Koeman has adjusted the formation. He's tweaking things. He's thinking about it. He's giving Frimpong a chance. This is all positive, and we can't always discredit the fact that just because it's Ronald Koeman, we'll lose games. I think he's doing some good stuff at the moment.
Yes, as I mentioned, Koeman, after the third loss against Italy in the Nations League 3-2, I think he has changed his entire mentality about coaching, because since that match he corrected all the mistakes. I barely saw him made any mistakes since the match that we lost to Italy 3-2, really. That's why I'm optimistic with him. He became more flexible, playing 4-3-3 and switching to 5-3-2 whenever he has to, or maybe even 3-5-2, and that's really good. Playing depending on how the match will go, on the flow of the game. Of course, one of the options we have, if we desperately need to score, maybe Geertruida out and Dumfries in, and in that way, our right side is going to be really fluid and fast. We will have Frimpong and Dumfries, and they both have very strong attacking mentality. So this is one of the options we have. Broby can be in as well. Weghorst also, he makes a difference when he comes in as a sub, We've seen that.
Yeah, different options with the type of striker you bring in. Memphis is agile, can do a bit of everything. Whereas Weghorst and Broby are going to get something totally different from them.
Yeah.
We love to see it as well. Let's talk about midfield then. We said it would pick itself. We're expecting Schouten, Veerman, Reinders. Xabi Simons, can't see him playing as a number 10 actually now. That 3 looks like Reinders is the sort of the furthest forward of that. Maybe Wijnaldum comes in for him later on in the game. Not that we agree with that, but that probably is what will happen. How do you see those 3 working together? Of course, Schouten and Veerman are teammates at PSV. And I like how Veerman's got all this passing range, and if he can bring that PSV game and just, expand that to the international stage, next to Schouten, who I've got confidence in, keeps it simple, and it's just more silky than Martin Delone, has more about him. And Reinders, I would have preferred to see him in a duo with Frenkie de Jong, but him further forwards, yeah, I think that can work. We've liked him when he's been in an orange shirt. So as a 3, it looks nice. Has it got that ultimate quality to beat those bigger teams later down the line? We'll have to see.
Yeah, well, we saw how Veerman and Schouten played with PSV. They did play a very important role for PSV to win the league and lead the league from the beginning. And if some people say that the Dutch league is not very strong, we saw them in the Champions League, helping PSV to go to the second round and barely lost to the team that made it to the final, actually, which was Dortmund. So the 2 players are really good together. I think Reinder will add a lot to the 2, but I'm really worried about losing a battle of the midfield against any opponent. Then what will the options be? There is no one you can bring from outside. These are the best 3 we have as midfielders now. I don't see any good sub as a midfielder. With all due respect to Wijnaldum, I don't think he will add much, unless, of course, Gravenberch makes a difference and comes in and you see him suddenly making a surprise. I hope this is the case, really.
Daley Blind's also an option midfield. I think as a defensive midfielder, he could be useful.
Daley Blind can be useful as a defensive midfielder as well, yes. Well, I've always thought about Daley Blind as a defensive midfielder. I never saw him as a good player, when he played as a left back or even a central defender. So maybe this will add something to the team as well, yes.
Yeah. All right, Abdul. So it's predictions time. How do you see this one going? I think we're both thinking the Netherlands will win. But what's your prediction?
Well, I think, logically, if I'm the coach of Poland, I will try to end the match with Holland and with France 0-0, and try my best to win against Austria. Logically, this is how he should think, unless he makes a surprise and he starts attacking from the beginning. But I highly doubt this is going to be the case. So he'll probably will go for the 0-0, depending on counter attacks. Maybe he will score from an attack or another, especially with the injuries he has up front. So I don't think he will make so many risks. I think he will defend, and I think we will attack, playing 4-3-3. I think and I expect that we will win this match 2-0.
I'm going to go 1-0, and I say it because we will be defensively solid, and if I can see it being scrappy 0-0 for a long time, Poland won't be able to force the issue. I think we've got that back four that can see out any threat. Poland won't have much of a cutting edge, and it'll be a case of us trying to pick away at them and try and get chances. I don't think we're playing on the counter attack right often, though I think we will be dangerous on it against France. This is a chance to try and get that goal, wear Poland down, and see it out, and just take the 3 points. It's not about glamorous football at all. Let's just get the win. That is what we're doing here at this group stage of international football. So that's why I'm going 1-0. Maybe goal scorer. I'm gonna go Joey Veerman.
Oh, okay. You think Veerman is gonna score?
Yeah, why not?
1-0, and Veerman is gonna score it. That's what you think, right?
Yeah, I mean, that put Memphis are in my mind, and I really wouldn't be surprised if they score. But
yeah, okay. I think Memphis and Gakpo, actually.
okay.
If it ends 2-0, of course, yeah. And I agree with you. We're not looking for celebration or for a party here. I really hope we don't, try to score as many goals as possible. Winning is great in this match, even if it's 1-0. We all will be happy. And since the third best 4 out of 6 teams qualify, I think winning the first match will put you in the round of 16 right away. You will need only probably 1 point after that.
Yeah. Well, Abdul, I've enjoyed this as a follow-up to our live show we did after the Iceland game, which is a good chat too. And of course, go and check out all the other things we've been doing ahead of the Euros if you haven't already, the Group D preview and the Euros tournament preview too. We'd like you as well, just drop a comment down below. What do you think ahead of the game? Do you think that Koeman will throw any tactical surprises? Do you think he'll go back to the 5 at the back? Who do you think should be playing, and what are your predictions as well? Right, guys, we're back after the game has finished. We'll be doing a live stream. It'll be in Europe. It will be like Sunday afternoon, it's Sunday evening. But of course, wherever you're around the world, if you add 2 hours to whenever the kickoff is, that's basically when our live streams start. I think you probably have noticed that now after time. And we'll be there then to talk about the game. Abdul will be there, won't you, Abdul? And I think Mike will be back too for that one. Right, everyone, we'll see you after the game. And up, Holland, up.